interesting. So, yeah, English teachers upgrade our community. I think who has already joined English teachers upgrade? Yeah. Okay. So some people. Yeah. Please, we're gonna have the live stream now. There is also Anya, one of our other moderators. Okay. Anyways. So we're going to start talking about how to unlock your team's writing superpowers. Can you all hear me? Okay. So, I am Tatiana Odintsova, and I'm here because I love teaching teenagers, and I love writing. You know, what a coincidence. I really love writing about teenagers, writing with teenagers, everything about that. And I think that writing is easy, because there is this, just the process that you need to follow. First, we need to plan, like, for example, brainstorm ideas. We analyze, for example, we study an example, and we try to copy that, just like a first idea that comes. And then we create, draft, and finalize. And, which is most important, I think we evaluate that, we get that. This, I think, this line view on writing really corresponds with what Alex Warren has just been talking about, this critical thinking, critical reading, because I'm also really into this path of development. But of course it's easier said than done. It's always good when we discuss that, but when it comes to writing, our teenagers not really willing to do that. And we've just discussed those problems with discipline, homework, classroom management. On our writing lesson, this same thing happens. Yeah, kind of, if you follow this, you might possibly unlock those superpowers. So, step one. So, as I promised, by the end of the session, you will get 5 working, in my class, working ideas. So the first one, how do we get those ideas? For example, it can be this messy whiteboard. We usually start with mind map. Yeah, does it look like a mind map? What is our topic, if you can see?
Endangered
animals. Endangered animals. So our first step was to think about the endangered animals. Then we tried to think about this SOS thing, like where, what objects really need help. The next one, there's a question, why? There is a human factor, there's a climate change, there's ecology, toxic fumes, this is supposed to be a factory. And then we not only plan and brainstorm, what can you see? We also use some interesting expressions. That is what do you think is easier for the students? You not only get the idea of what they're going to do, but now they know how they're going to do it. And we discussed that at the very pre-writing stage. I believe this is maybe the most important thing for teenagers, because as I talk to many of my colleagues, both online and offline, and they all say the biggest problem is lack of ideas. They have no ideas. They keep like, oh, I don't know what to write about. Probably because, as some of my colleagues say, they're lazy. They don't want to think. Maybe. But probably that's because they just, they don't have enough background knowledge. They really don't know what to write about. That's another question, how to develop this background knowledge through reading, through watching videos, whatever. But at least we can help them over here. This can be used for exam essay, because I'm really in love with exam preparation. Can be for the essay, can be for OGS speaking. When they undertake speaking task 3, they have this idea when they need to talk about a topic. Yeah. One idea here. Who knows these guys? Yeah? What do you know about them? British, yeah? Tourists. Uh-huh. And what do they think about Russia? That Russia is great and they really want to spread this idea around the world. I was really impressed when I first watched this video and immediately I got this idea that my teenagers need to see that first of all because this guy, he's a teenager. And it's always interesting to get opinion from somebody like you. We started with discussing the title, Expectations and Reality. Then they try to predict. Again, pre-writing stage, how to get ideas is important. They predict, I try to, let's say, to activate their background knowledge. They got these ideas and then we watch this video in order to just check. That was it. And then, how do now you might be asking yourself, okay, let's watch a video, how is it connected with writing? Easily, we wrote an OGL letter to this guy. Well, he didn't receive that, but anyways, we tried to, so imagine a situation. This guy, I forgot his name, Bogdan, his YouTube name. So this guy is coming to Russia. Imagine what kind of letter could he possibly write? They write this sample letter with 3 questions connected with his expectations. And then they write the response to that. What it is really like. And then they ask 3 questions about their expectations for Britain. Probably, we could even, the good thing here is that this is a real person. He really checks his YouTube, he might have his Facebook and Instagram pages, so it's, for those who are brave enough, it's easy just to send these questions to him and maybe to get the response. But here there's another psychological problem. Not all of them are ready to share their opinions, to write public resources. Okay, that's another one to get in here. Question to you, what is the connection between these two? You can see a bag full of dollars and this is bus stop. What can be the connection? A bag was... Okay, yeah, they found a bag on the bus stop. Okay, then they tried to think, I got, actually from my teenagers, I got lots of ideas about like this is the amount of money people spend on public transport. This was everything. Again, for pre-writing stage, this is crucial. But in fact, the next stage is connected. It's how we analyze. But I showed them this blog, which is, unfortunately, this is not an authentic resource because this is what I made up for them. This is an adaptation from Gateway series. There was a page about a blog. But I decided to change everything. So the next step after discussing those pictures, they read the blog and they found out what really was, what was the reality. Then, we analyzed that. What do you think we might want to pay attention to here, at this stage? Huh? So my first question was, what kind of text this is? I thought, that's an online and that's a blog. Okay, what is special? Why do people write blogs? Why do people write blogs? Yeah, to share, to express their opinion. So we try to think, okay, if this is about opinion, they started thinking about the language. So what kind of language do you expect here? Kind of some emotional, lots of adjectives can be, but from, tense-wise, there can be some past simple. Yeah, because we tell a story, maybe present perfect, to share our experience. That's we reviewed some grammar. But then again, we paid attention to what? What is important for this type of text? That you don't have to read everything. No, this is not important. Just look at the layout. First of all, we have the date when it was posted. We have this hashtags. Do we have the real name here? No, there's, just have a look at this one. The title of the text is The Right Thing, Right. No, bad or right or wrong. And the name of the blogger was Tom the Writer, with a right is misspelled. For my teenagers didn't get, oh, there's a spelling mistake. But then they kind of realized, oh, that's a play of words. Well, writer because he writes, and writer because he does the right thing. And this is an important thing. Just remember that. We'll talk about what follow-up can be later. So we teach them to notice and to analyze. Because this is another important thing for critical thinking. There's one tiny puzzle that you need to make the full picture of everything. So we need to pay attention to structure, layout, how the text is organized, the one that we're going to write, grammar, and maybe some useful vocabulary. You will get the presentation, so no worries. That's an important thing because you can give them how we encourage them to get those ideas and to analyze. This was one of our first lessons because I needed to see with my new group where they're at. So I gave them these prompts of the sentences they needed to finish the sentences. But the thing is that they also needed, it was a running dictation thing. You know what a running dictation is, right? Okay, so one runs to the sentence and then the other one completes the sentence. And then they needed just to complete the sentences over here. The next step would be to write the whole good sentence. Not a lot of writing, but still there is this analysis of what you can do and how you can do that. So that's again about writing. And we figured out that they have a lot of spelling mistakes when they listen. So that was a test for me as well. Then finally, we have the ideas, we have analyzed everything. Yeah, we know how and what we're going to do. Yeah. No, we need to create. I really like this approach, this process approach to writing. Do you know what that is? Yeah? What is the most important thing in the process approach to writing? Guess what? Do we need to get the final result? Well, yes, we do need to get the final result, but this is not the ultimate thing that we're looking for. This is the process. This is the thing that is the most important for us in order how we teach the students. So they draft collaboratively, all together. So they get the ideas, they plan, they analyze, they discuss everything. I am silent. Now, I'm just walk silent and just have a look what they're doing and how they're doing that. This is connected with Lev Vygotsky's theory of the zone of proximal development, which says that teenagers work better when they have peer support. And it is important for them, when you think to yourself, you do not know whether you're doing it right or not. Same thing that we had together in this mastermind session. We need to have peer support. So, but the thing is that they write individually. They talked about their story, the similar story that they've just read on this blog. And they create everything on their own. I received very interesting stories. They all tried to copy this funny nickname. So they all invented their nicknames. The stories were really interesting. So what could be about how to create? So what we can do with, we wrote everything. What's next? We're in class. What do they do? Do they give me to check? No. If we swap, that means only one person is going to read my work. No, so I decided to put everything on the walls. And it was like, what do we do on the internet? We browse the internet. That means we walk. Yeah, and that's what we did. We created our internet here in the classroom, which is good if you're low tech. You know, yeah, question?
Why didn't we do the all?
Yeah, so that's it. There were 5 people in the group, so I had 5 different stories. Even though the plot, the idea was the same for some of the people, but the outcome, the final result was totally different. So because they added their jokes, they added their hashtags, they added everything. So they wrote that on special templates on a blog. Oh, sorry. That's a different one. And they needed what they're doing now, so they've read each other's blog, and they need to, what do we do with blogs? We comment. So they commented. And that is an important thing. Before you send this type of task, you have to tell them, now you're going to write, but please do that in a nice handwriting, because other people are going to read you. If you don't say that, that will be, so that was the usual go. And when you ask them to comment on that, make sure you say, it cannot be a smile, an emoji. No, it has to be a nice sentence, at least a phrase. And we didn't focus on, they gave feedback on content. They didn't comment on the mistakes, grammar, and that stuff. Because after that, I collected the words and I checked everything. So accuracy is on me, content is on them. And this is, again, it helps their peer development. Another, I like putting everything on walls. My boss is going to kill me. Blue tack leaves some traces. But anyways, this was, as you can see, they're all wearing their backpacks and their coats. This was our final thing. So they wrote everything, and I said, no one can go home without leaving a comment to that. So this was in our hall on the way out. So while they were walking, they had to read and comment. So it was like a very sly thing from me. So I just had more time for the lesson, But it's a good thing because they tried to discuss that while they were commenting, and they really like that video. And again, I then collected and checked. Good. Number 5. What about exams? What about exams? This is the question that everybody asks. And because I love exams, as I keep telling, and everything that I do, more or less, is connected with exams. So I had a group of 4 girls, 8th year at school, so 1 year before again. We talked about their free time activities. So just at the beginning of the lesson, I asked them, what do you like doing in your free time? They were happy to say. They shared their ideas. I wrote down everything, typical brainstorming. And then we brainstorm ideas over class. And then I asked them, now you choose like one that you did on your last weekend. And they had to write 3 sentences about their own weekend. Why this is good? Again, so we wrote stories about invented stories. We wrote stories about some guy, but this is about this person. Yeah, we personalize. Another important factor to encourage them writing. Why do I need to write about somebody? Because I want to share my opinion. And then I told them, this is going to be, at this moment, this is going to be a letter. You need to ask 3 questions. That's all, 3. Okay? Ask 3 questions and then, like that. This is the process. They were writing. In here, there's a question. Do you ever have writing lessons? Do you let your students write in class?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Oh, who doesn't like writing lessons? You never waste time with that. Some people, no, we just, because it's a widespread opinion that writing in class, it's a waste of time. Yeah, because like it's easier to set it as a homework. That's why many researchers say that writing is like a Cinderella skill, neglected by authors because all the grammar is important systems and that stuff, but never writing. Okay, so guess what is the next step for us? Here it is when we swap. Like we had a certain person, so the person who we were writing to. And then you read the letter. This is a letter to you, you know that somebody wrote that to you, and then you have to respond and you send it back to the person. And it can be endless, you know, if you have time for that. And they had a lot of fun reading these letters because they never do that. They don't get paper letters nowadays. Speaking about letters and postcards, do you ever use this post-crossing website? A very interesting resource, like kind of a social network, which encourages people to go offline and send real postcards. So you, in a random way, for example, somebody from Germany, somebody from Russia can send a postcard to, or receive a postcard from Japan. And when they see that it all goes globally, they are encouraged. But again, there's another step, how to encourage them to do that. The only thing is just to start doing that on your own, and to send the postcards as well. But I think it's good for exam preparation because it's like where you see the real life purpose of the exam, which is connected with the next thing. Make it real life. This is what we have, my WhatsApp chat with the students. On a regular basis, I think all of you, some of you have this thing. WhatsApp and VK chat with the students. It's easy because it's good, at least for classroom management. You can send them homework. But on the other hand, we had this lesson, as you can see, pictures of, can you guess what city that was?
New York.
New York, yeah, we had this boring text about New York in our course book, like some random guy was telling us. Then what we decided to do is just to choose 3 interesting places in their opinion. So they Googled all the pictures, they made their own decision to send 3 pictures to our chat, and then I switched on those Times Square sounds, Times Square in the rain. Just the sound, you know, somebody recorded this video of Times Square, just to get the, you know, the feeling of New York. And then we said, what do you, our grammar focus was a present continuous? The present continuous full future arrangements. What you're doing, I'm in New York now, on the top floor, and so on. Mistakes, yes, but okay. At least I need to unlock this, to break this block that they have, and so on. And then it's after that. This is non-stop. They keep communicating in English, which is good. Okay, and that's another chance for me to test their grammar. Now, there is this nice. So you know this famous 6-word story. Yeah, that maybe heard. That's Ernest Hemingway.
Yes.
Supposedly, it was he who started that. But there is a whole book about this 6-word stories by teenagers. Here is this book cover. I can't keep my own secret. 6 words memoirs by teenagers. I don't have this book, but I just found some quotes from it. These are not my teenagers, not mine. These are from these books. So what I want you to do, I'll give you, how much time do I have left? 2 minutes. I give you 1 minute now to think about your life in 6 stories, in 6 words, okay? They can be connected. Just six words. Can be a random word, 6 random words. You can try to make them sound like a nice story. Always the friend, never the girl. Best friends, text messages, summer love. The most important thing in your life. Okay, any ideas? It's always, and even for teenagers, it's always embarrassing to share because when it starts to be on my life, oh no, I don't want to tell my story. Okay, any 6-word stories here? Okay, yeah. Okay, over there, you go next.
So, constant battle with my own fears.
Constant battle with my own fears. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Keep moving and texting your study buddies.
Oh yeah. Keep moving and texting your study buddies. Study buddies, like one. Study buddies. Okay. Good.
I have like always as busy as the bee. It's just my life.
Oh yeah. Okay. Can you put the picture flip it on?
This is drink coffee and enjoy.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Okay, and okay, the last one.
Not always happy, but always positive.
That's right. You know, this is all about the teachers. Always positive. Thank you. Yeah. So, do you think your teenagers might like this idea? It's not a lot. What they fear a lot is when you ask them to write 250 words. Maybe essay, even 90 words, this is a nice word for them. But this is like a first step for them. So some takeaway ideas. Plan and brainstorm collaboratively. Teach to notice and analyze. You give them a sample. Focus on the process. But when you come to analyzing, this is more of a genre approach to that. Make it a positive experience. What I mean here is you make it fun, you make them enjoy, as Keaton said. Enjoyment is the most important thing, but you also, when you give feedback, you don't focus on mistakes, you focus on content, and you focus on good things. And then edit, redraft, revise, we have to encourage them, especially for exams, and make it real life and regular. So, thank you very much. You can find me over here. Any questions? We have time for questions? No time for questions.
One question, maybe.
Right, so one question. Now, if anything, please feel free to contact me in the hall and text me in WhatsApp. Let's make it regular in real life. Okay, thank you very much. And let's give a round of applause.